Good evening, I'm Kurt Gooksell. A couple of girls basketball games on the schedule here in Dubois County tonight. Castle in at Jasper. Springs Valley travels to Northeast Dubois. Jasper will open its boys basketball season tomorrow on the road at Linton. John Gable entering his 14th season with the Wildcats. Gable says it's been a different type of preseason for his team with all that's going on.
It has been strange. We've had at one point last week we were down to 7 guys because of so many guys being quarantined, and right now we're up to 20. We've kept 21 in the program this year, and we kept a couple more than we usually do for that reason, because we don't know throughout the course of the year who's going to be with us and who's not. And it is a strange situation for everybody, but our mentality is this virus, this pandemic has really hurt a lot of people throughout the world. A lot of families have suffered, both personally through loss of loved ones and sickness, and financially with businesses being lost and hurt, and people losing jobs. So if we're a little bit inconvenienced by people being quarantined and not being able to practice, or we have to play in front of smaller crowd sizes, if those are the worst problems we have, we're going to consider ourselves fortunate. And so we're just trying to stay positive and keep working hard, and hopefully this thing will pass.
You guys got a new group. What are some of the things you've been working on with this new team?
Well, we've kept some extra guys, so what we're going to try to do is play more of a full court game. We're trying to really get after things defensively in the full court. We're trying to add some presses and maybe have more of a full court mentality, because if you've got 10 or 11 guys who can play varsity basketball, you might as well use them, and we intend to do that. So we would like to be a better defensive team in the full court, and we'd like to push the ball in transition if we can do so without just making careless turnovers and making dumb shots. But we're trying to be a full court team this year, and I don't know how it's going to work out, but that's our plan.
What kind of team can this be offensively, John?
Well, I think we're a little bit better shooting team than we were last year. We went 17-6 last year and won the Big 8 and had a nice year, but we lost a couple of games because of our inability to shoot the ball, and or at least effectively and consistently. And I think that hopefully we're going to be a team that can do a little bit more inside-out shooting and maybe bust up some zones that we commonly see, because we're going to be more effective shooters.
What about defensively and rebounding with this club?
Well, that's got to be our calling card. I think we've just finished 6 straight years where we've won at least 15 games, and you have to go back to 1970 to 75 since Jasper's done that. And I think one of the reasons we've been successful is because we've had kids that have bought in defensively, that understand that defense takes guts, and it takes intensity and effort and a little bit of courage and a little bit of physicality. And I think this year we've got a team in practice at least that's showing that they understand that too.
You've touched on the pandemic a little bit. I'm sure you talk to your guys about rolling with the punches. You never know what's going to happen from day to day, and it's going to be one of those years, right?
Right, and there's just some things that are out of your control. So we're asking them to follow the mandated procedures and protocol, and to do the right things, to wear masks when appropriate, to social distance when appropriate, and however you feel about it, to take it seriously and make sure it's serious. And it still doesn't guarantee that you're not going to be quarantined, that you're not going to be in close contact with somebody, but at least if you're doing the right things, you're at least minimizing those chances.
And you could have some games canceled, postponed. Again, that's going to be one of those things, you're just going to have to live with it, right?
Yeah, and I do feel bad for the seniors in that regard, because you just don't want to see them lose any games. And but like I said, if we lose a few games along the way, it's really small change compared to the big picture. But we do anticipate that there will have to be postponements and maybe even cancellations. And so we're just keeping our fingers crossed, like everybody else, that maybe with a vaccine available, maybe this thing, we'll get it under control, and there'll be a little bit less maybe panic, and maybe a little bit you'll start seeing the numbers go down, and maybe we can get back to some kind of normalcy by February, which would be really, really nice.
Jasper will host Lagodi on Saturday for the home opener, parents only for these games. You can watch Jasper basketball Saturday morning at 10 and Sunday at 1 right here on 18. Trace Jackson Davis dropped a career-high 31 points as the Indiana Hoosiers top Stanford 79-63 at the Maui Invitational in Asheville, North Carolina. Race Thompson had 15 points and 8 rebounds, while Armand Franklin had 13 and 8 boards. Indiana shot 53% from the field, forced 14 turnovers, and out-rebounded the Cardinal 34-26 at 3-1. Indiana will play Florida State next Wednesday in Tallahassee. Trailing by as many as 14 points Evansville staged a furious rally, but a 9-0 start in the second overtime was enough for Tennessee Martin to take a 93-87 win over the Purple Aces down in Martin. U of E now 0-3, led by a 22-point game from Noah Frederking. It was his second 20-point outing in a row. 4 players had career nights in the contest, led by Shamar Givens. He had 17. Jax Levitch hit 4 threes en route to 15 points. Thomas A. Gilgeous-Alexander had 11 as well. Ball State loses at Michigan 84-65. The Cardinals led by K.J. Walton with 20 points. The Colts getting 3 key players back from the reserve COVID-19 list. Chief among them is running back Jonathan Taylor. Indy's still waiting to get back defensive lineman Danico Autry and defensive tackle DeForest Buckner. Those two missed the last 2 games. And Kyle Schwarber and Albert Almora Jr. become free agents when the Cubs decline to offer contracts to 2 key players from their historic 2016 World Series championship. Schwarber, of course, played at IU. Also, outfielder Alex Dickerson, a former Hoosier, agreed to a $2.1 million one-year contract to stay with the San Francisco Giants. Stay tuned. We'll have more WJTS 18 news right after this.